Good morning. So, why FCC means so much to me, I have to actually bring you back 36 years ago when I was 16 years old, sitting in a church with the dark brown pews and sitting next to my girlfriend. And we were holding hands, and the church was empty. And we were holding hands and praying for some sign that we were welcome. And as we held each other's hands, we heard nothing. And we walked out of the church knowing that we weren't welcome there. And that was 36 years ago. And I turned 40 and realized that I needed to do some healing, and yet I wanted nothing to do with religion. And so I started studying Buddhism. And then I read a book by a Vietnamese monk. His name was Thich Nhat Hanh. And Buddhism had opened my heart to soften. And the book that I read was called Living Buddha, Living Christ. And I realized that my whole life, that I really loved Christ, but I didn't so much like Christians. And so we went on a search for a church, and actually, I have to confess, it's church, so you get to confess things. I didn't choose FCCB. I didn't choose this church. Helen chose this church. I had wanted to go to a Black Baptist church where I could just drown myself in someone else's spirit, in the loudness of it all. But we came here, and I was in the midst of a divorce, and I'd bring Helen to Sunday school, and I'd sit in the pews and sob. And I'll just never forget a stranger coming and just sitting next to me and putting her arm around me. And it's been nothing but that since I joined this church. And I think of Dana Pra. When Helen was little, he'd come up and say, "Give me a soft 5." And just how safe I felt, and how comforted and how held. And then Bruce Copeland was our first volunteer at Solar Richmond. And he gave his heart and his brilliant mind. And then a couple months before he died, before he passed, I somehow miraculously ended up on an airplane next to him coming back from Chicago. And listened to him for 3.5 hours. The poor man just wanted to sleep. And I kept asking him questions and soaking in his wisdom. And so I just feel this deep, deep gratitude for having been so held and so healed in this community. And after moving through that, it's like, wow, and I get to come to church and sing like Stevie Nicks and the Indigo Girls and Rebecca Riots, and I get to play my drums. So it's just such a gift to be here. And I just want to thank you all for that. Thank you.